Aha Peanuts TV yɛbɛma mo akɔ aba na afei mo agye mesrɛ sɛ wobɛgye brɛ na afei update ahoroɔ a yɛn nsa aka no yɛde bɛma mo. So yɛhyɛ aseɛ na yɛkɔ straight into the camp of the US President, United States of America, Donald Trump. Some radio near ababɛtɔ mmɔnten so kyerɛ sɛ woyɛ immigrant ɛwɔ USA na wonni green card you should start heading towards your home or country crowd free buy start going towards that country to go and apply for green card or try not to say if you are from Ghana, you are from Nigeria, you are from any part of the world away from the United States of America. As of now, you have to start heading towards home. Ukofi anafi wako apply for green card on saka na ya from now abaso on your screen. So I say Trump administration now requiring green card seekers to leave to US to apply and to say green card you have to start heading towards home to apply for green card. And this has raised a lot of controversies online. It's more or less like people are beginning to look at it from a different direction. Is it that Trump per se now applying as a not just what's now, baby. It's more or less like elimination by rough taxes. Trump try say Obabe. It has raised a lot of controversies. People who are Ghanaians, people who are Nigerians, different countries who have found themselves in the United States of America. Some media, Omotwaye Shiana said they are beginning to, be placed on a hot seat because you have to come back to your home country. Now, what shall I say? Who apply? We and some embassy are fraud. Then you come back to the country. Some of these kind of things, somewhere around the 1980s, we saw say it wasn't like this. I mean, so US and now person apply for green card. You are there. Obe fraud for interview. Who qualify for interview now? Na afe onsa card. It wasn't like this previously. So why does Trump want to do it this way? This has created a whole lot of conversations around this whole issue. So Trump is more or less like a new policy. Trump you have to go back to your country. When you go there, you apply for green card. The country USA. So this has brought a report from CBS. A citizen spouse, a student, tourist, USA, visa holder. I mean, idea when they on your screen, so say Trump administration suspends green card process, potentially compelling hundreds of thousands to leave US to apply for it. So that is what is coming from the US President Donald Trump. Say green card. The simple way to get it is to go back to your country. When you go back to your country, then you apply for it. This wasn't how it was initially, but there's a new policy, Donald Trump. So on your screen, so say the Trump administration will now require people seeking green card to leave the United States during the application process. A sweeping change that could upend the lives of hundreds of thousands of people seeking the right to legally and permanently live and work in the USA. So coming from the President of the United States, so pay green card, you should go to your country, then apply for it. So there's a video to this effect at CBS.
The administration is making it much harder for immigrants already here in the U.S. to get a green card, expanding its campaign to sharply limit legal immigration. U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services announced it will be eliminating the option for many immigrants seeking a green card to complete that process without having to leave the U.S. Now, in most cases, immigrants will be required to return to their home countries in order to apply for a green card or permanent U.S. residency through an American consulate overseas. Current and former U.S. immigration officials tell CBS News the policy will likely have wide-ranging implications, forcing groups like students, tourists, and other temporary visa holders, as well as people who enter the country legally but overstay their visas, to leave the U.S. before trying to obtain a green card. And that would include immigrants who are being sponsored by American employers and companies or U.S. citizen relatives, including their spouses. For many, going back home could make it difficult or even impossible for them to return to the U.S., given the travel and visa restrictions the Trump administration has imposed on dozens of countries.
So that is the video to that effect. Some radio say, oh, the United States of Ghana. Na a spouse of a citizen, a student, a tourist, a visa holder. Na a citizen of the United States of America. Yeah, you have to head back to your country to apply for green card. You go through the process and then you are called to be part or to be officially be able to go to the country. So that is what is coming from the President of the United States of America. So whether you are a student, you are a tourist, you are a citizen, spouse, and all that, you have to go through this new policy. It's a new system that is coming from the United States of America. You go back to your country, wherever you're coming from, then you apply, then you are called for interview. After the interview, then you are legitimately able to stay at the United States of America. There is a post to this effect. Said the Trump administration will now require people seeking green cards to leave the United States during the application process. A sweeping change that could upend the lives of hundreds of thousands of people seeking the right to legally and permanently live and work in USA. So it means that person will live in USA. If you want to work in USA, the visa application process, now you go back to your country, then you apply and then go through the process. In a new rule announced Friday, US immigration authorities said green card applicants would have to return to their home countries to apply for permanent visas. So when they acquire to say hits for people who are immigrants in the United States of America. If you want green card, come back to your country, then you apply, then you go through the process. And the abrupt policy change stands to affect a large swath of legal U.S. immigration population, compelling those seeking legal permanent residency to leave the country, separating families, forcing people to leave their jobs, and disrupting communities in the process. Applying for a green card is a notoriously arduous process that can take several months to years to complete. So this part of it, to apply for the green card, it would take a while. So is it that Donald Trump is trying to eliminate immigrants by rough taxes? On to me, Pamo say call country, and as we Ghana, and as Nigeria, go back to your country. But this is more or less like a strategy to move people who are immigrants away from the USA. Or say U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services said the rule provides exemptions for extraordinary circumstances. Zakela, a spokesperson for the agency, said in a statement, when aliens apply from their home country, it reduces the need to find and move those who decide to slip into the shadows and remain in the U.S. illegally after being denied residency. Keller said, first say, who apply na say some people find ways of, moving into the country, still staying in the country, or call back to home country. So they are looking at this as a way of, making immigrants do the right thing. Or apply na say, green card, you can't come. I see about 1.4 million people obtained lawful permanent residence in fiscal year in 2024, according to Public Department of Homeland Security data. Somewhere in 2024, this card not lawfully, they had the right to stay in the USA. 1.4 million. The new rule is likely to face legal challenges since being announced Friday. It has already faced a torrent of criticism from attorneys, lawmakers, and immigration advocates. So this has more or less caused a stir. Obia de nanoa tumu, Obia on the point of view. Will this really help? Lawmakers, immigration advocates, and a whole lot of people are beginning to talk about this. Representative Delia C. Ramirez, an Illinois Democrat, said on X That policy is beyond cruel and called for the dismantling of DHS piece by piece. So Obi so Ramirez or this is cruel. I say almost said that US 4% almost bought other countries a timodine, not just say if you are not a citizen of US, no, you have to leave. So New York government Kathy Hochul said on X, the new policy betrays the very promise that builds this country. This is from someone who is trying to say, so when there is betraying the very laws that builds the country. The administration has made efforts to significantly reduce asylum claims under the temporary protected status for several countries, which allowed those fleeing natural disasters, wars, or other dangerous conditions to live in the U.S. without fear of being deported, halted refugee admissions, experts from white South Africans, and restricted work and student visas. So, this policy, to them, it's going to help to prevent more US on asylum and all that. So it will bring all those things down. If you are not having that green card, you are not supposed to stay there. So it means that we won't have issues on asylum and all. The following last year's shooting of 2 National Guard soldiers in Washington, D.C., the administration announced it was re-examining all green cards issued to people from 19 countries of concern. So to the U.S., they think it is a good way to go because it will help to curb down people living in their country illegally or without green cards and all that. So this is what is coming from the United States of America. The president of the country, Donald Trump, says there has been a policy reform. The new policy is that person apply for green card na oye permanent resident or US, you have to go back to your country wherever you are coming from. You have to go there. You go through the process. You apply for it. When you are called for interview, you go and then you are interviewed. Then you go through the rightful process till you become a permanent residency of the United States of America. This new development now has raised a whole lot of controversies. A number of people, not just from Ghana, but other countries are beginning to raise eyeballs. Say, is it more or less like you see, US for, and I said Donald Trump per se, immigrants, ethnic country, and I say it's more or less like some strategy be also use, not just say USA, no. It's more or less like and a whole lot. It has raised a whole lot of controversies and then talks here and there that say we busiani bi ana odofo bi ana onua bi wo US ya some ready e kamia say na so ya ye hia ne sa say o person apply for green card asatna only bia he or she has to return to Ghana. So the issue now is if they return to Ghana, some of the immigrants there are beginning to think to say, so returning to Ghana, how long would it take? So Obana say I'm friend with Bioma, won't this make it look like he or she is becoming a burden to the society or burden to his or her family and a whole lot? So that is the news coming from the United States of America. The US officially everybody say US now per green card it's now permanent residency. You have to go to your country, then you apply for it. If you are called for interview, you go for interview, then you become or you are able to stay in US permanently to work and all that. And this is going to affect everyone, as to whether you're a student or you're a citizen to a spouse or you're a tourist or whatever you are doing at USA. So for us, when you're a citizen of the United States of America, the open green card, go back to your country, apply, and then you hear from the embassy of the United States of America. So that is that. Yet, what's what concern